You are now listening to Nexxlegacy Radio, a radio station for the people.
You can hit her up on all social media at Aviva Fit Match on Twitter, Facebook. You can go ahead and just lock that in. And I want to welcome Miss Aviva to Branded After Dark. How you doing, young lady?
I'm doing fantastic. Can you actually hear me?
I can, loud and clear.
Wow. I love technology. You know, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, but this is the good part right here. It's just very interesting to me to do an interview right from the comfort of my home. Can I wear a onesie while I talk to you and be all comfortable with a cognac in my hand, or? That's the beauty of doing interviews, with technology. I love it. Thank you.
You can do that, and then Aviva, also, like, your voice is broadcast, like, globally, like, not just in the United States and Canada and overseas. We have massive listeners over in Japan, Singapore, actually, as well, Australia. So you're listening. You got a bunch of listeners listening in to hear us talk. So it's definitely an honor and a privilege to be able to have you on the show. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I feel exactly the same. How exciting is that to be able to reach, the crowd and the minds, and, to offer some good substance for those people. I love it.
Indeed. And, it's just like I said to start the show, I love to talk about the evolution of relationships and marriage and self-worth and all this good stuff. But before we dive deep into it, tell the listeners a little bit about your Perfect Fit brand and why is that so important to you?
Okay. So we work with people that need to create change in their life, that would like to facilitate change in some area of their life. And with my extensive background in so many different areas of beauty and relationship coaching and fitness, events, the whole caboodle, I was able to blend all these components and create something where I can really bring somebody into a process and have them come out with a completely different mindset, with a whole lot of confidence, and, ready for life, so to speak. Because there's a lot of people out there who struggle on a daily basis, who are going through things sometimes. Sometimes they want to create change in certain areas of their life, and there's not one company out there that can facilitate all those things in one place or in with a great team. So my company, that's exactly what we do. We analyze, we assess, we speak with you. We want to find out, what you're going through, what you're dealing with, or, what you'd like to change, and we help you and support you through it. The whole introduction component. Go ahead.
Go ahead, continue, dear.
The introduction component of our company just happened about 4 years ago. The coaching and the lifestyle firm has been there for many years. I have experience, about 20 years of experience in all those areas. And the introductions and matchmaking, that just happened about 4 years ago, where people just asked me to help them on a personal level to be introduced to somebody extraordinary, because I can identify what that looks like. And I had a network, and I made that happen. It was a perfect fit, and I just ran with it, and it's been successful.
Wow! So you developed this, to me, which I feel like is super important, because when you look at life and love and relationships and the evolution of it, like I said to start the show, it's always something that people are still searching for but just cannot grasp. No matter how young you are to, as you age, and you're still, depending on if you're locked down into a very monogamous and happy relationship, it's still something that a lot of people they're looking for when it comes to not just matchmaking, but just being able to live with one live with the other to make it one, and it's hard to find in a lot of ways. It's you know how relationships can go. You know, it's hard to find needle in a haystack. We've all dealt with it before, but I love the fact that when you go on your website, like one of the key things to me is the fact that you actually are a proponent of self-love, which I feel like is an important cog into any sustainable relationship. So personally, just kind of add on to what I'm saying when it comes to that, I think you can't do anything without loving yourself first, right?
Absolutely. You have to understand who you are as an individual, as a person first. You have to learn for yourself how to deal with things the best way that you can and how to understand them. Because if you don't understand yourself, how are you going to understand anybody else? And that's often a huge issue when it comes to relationships. I've done lots of interviews in the last week, and one of the main things that I always talk about is that we're so conditioned by our environment and our negative experiences that we start taking that and becoming something completely different that it's molded us to, and then we take that into our future relationships and then wonder why they don't work out. So you definitely have to love the person that you are and have the confidence that you bring something to the table, you bring something to your relationship. Nobody's perfect, so there's always things that you can work on. But once you do that research and you do that work, and it's a learning curve, it's a learning process. It's a learning process that's called life. And but once you're there, it becomes much more simpler than what people can imagine. The decisions that you make. I always guide everybody to make decisions based on logic and integrity, and you end up making the right decisions, and that's good.
That's important for people to understand, and also when it comes to just self-love and the way that this generation is trying to get into like life and love and business and all things of that nature, a lot of people say, I ain't got no time to work on this because I got something else to do. Everybody's kind of rush. They want to rush to love. They want to rush to the wedding. They want to rush to everything, and then it just doesn't work out. That's why you have a skyrocketing high divorce rate. You have, infidelity just coming out of the woodworks because everything is given to certain people easy. My question to you is, when you go through life in general, or have you seen certain aspects of the relationship part of it, do people still honor and respect monogamy now, or is it just one thing where everybody's seeing that person?
That's a really good question. Monogamy is definitely still there. I think it really depends on an individual person. We all have different experiences, so we believe in different things. So ideally, if you're raised in a very close-knit family with, when you see lots of affection between your, mom and dad, and you maintain, and your parents and have instilled certain characters in you in terms of spending quality time with the family, and, it has a really big impact on how you're going to carry out your own personal relationships in life and how you treat others and how you want to be treated. So it's big. It's big, but it really it's different for everyone. It's good to have a good example, friends or family that you can draw from, have good conversations, and really try to identify with maybe the right people. Sometimes even in success, you'd say if you want to be successful, you want to hang out with successful people. Well, that's so true. And in life, if you do some research, like if you start looking inward and you do some work on yourself, you come to learn certain things, you come to realize certain things, and, you start to understand what's really important. And relationships are really important. That's all we really have. Right. Is that. So monogamy does exist. But it's much tougher now than it ever was. I would hate to see what's going to happen in the next 10, 20 years with the next generations to come, right? It's very, very tough. There's very little communication. Nobody wants to try hard anymore. Nobody wants to, have chivalry. Nobody wants to make an effort. And that's a huge disconnect for a lot of people especially between men and women, let alone other relationships. So, there's a lot of disconnect, and it's really up to the individual person to choose differently for themselves and to look a little bit further, a little bit deeper, and make the right changes. And you can have that. You can have that, forever after. But a lot of it does depend on your previous experiences and how you were raised. I think that's huge.
Right. Amen to that. Wow, this is deep. We're going to continue this conversation. Aviva Ramirez, our guest. You can go to the website to go check it out. I encourage people. Perfect-fit.ca is the website. This is Nexxlegacy Radio. It's branded after dark. I believe when it comes to relationships, I believe, and you mentioned something just a little while ago that just kind of completely, agree with 100%. I think, a lot of people when it comes to relationships, Aviva, correct me if I'm wrong, but people initiate or they anticipate that, I think just because I'm feeling certain things about you, I think you need to automatically know how to love somebody. But me personally, as I grow and continue to be a better person every single day, I don't believe that for a sense, because I have to learn how to love you. If I love you, Aviva, I have to learn you. I have to learn what makes you who you are so I can be a better person to be able to cater to that. Don't you agree that there are levels of love? Everybody loves a different way. So love has a bunch of layers to it. But in order for me to love you, I have to learn how to love you, and you have to actually be open to teach me how to do it. Is that correct?
100%, and I'm so happy to hear you say that. It's very good. You're on point. Absolutely, yes. It's very important. Everybody has a different love language. What's good for one person, what's important to one person doesn't mean it's going to be the same level of importance for the next person. This could be a very simple example. When you start dating somebody and you're getting to know each other and there's chemistry and this and that, the first kiss is going to flow a certain way, right? Maybe you were in a relationship with somebody else and their kiss was a little bit different. There was a different, mechanically was a little bit different. I'm just giving you an example. So not everybody's the same. Everybody has a different click. Everybody has a different tick. You have to find the tick to your talk, right?
That's right.
So
that's right.
You absolutely have to learn about that person and find what works for them. There's a book out there, The Language of Love. There's a test that you can take online if you Google it, and you can find out based on the answers that you provide to the questionnaire, what your love language is, for example. And it's really important because some people appreciate quality time, people appreciate acts of kindness and gifts. Some people appreciate words of affirmation. All these things are very, very important. So you have to keep in mind that nobody's like you. They're different, and you have to have the respect for that and be open to learning about that.
Is there ever a timeline on growth when it comes to growing to learn to love someone? Yes, I want to date you. We date a couple of times. I'm not going to automatically fall in love, but I think there's a process like anything. But there's like I said earlier, there's so many people who put timelines on it. Like I think I'll go date number 3 before I actually, take it to another level, or let me wait 6 months in order for something to go down in order for me to give you more. Like, there's a lot of women, and to a degree, there's a lot of men as well who would put a freeze on certain things. I won't reveal a lot. I'll just put a timeline on it, and then when I feel it's right to reveal, I'll go ahead and do it. Should there be a timeline when it comes to certain things like that, as far as growing with a person, getting to know a person? Because that's kind of you're veering into a gray area when you start doing that, right?
So I just have a quick question. Did you sit down and write down some really key questions for me? Because these are all really, really great questions that I would love to explore. These are really, really important questions, and I so appreciate it.
This is all coming from the heart. I've interviewed over 10 years, I've never written anything down. It's like basic facts as far as websites and all that good stuff, but everything I do is all from the soul, because I feel like if I sit back and I pay attention to you, I'll be able to come up with another question. So, no, this is all from the heart.
Okay, well, I can feel, just so you know, I can feel that. So, absolutely.
I appreciate that.
There are timelines. There are definitely timelines. I can give you some examples for, when you're dating somebody, it takes time to get to know somebody. And it takes time to grow towards somebody. Sometimes it can happen really, really fast in all those relationships. And, they explode with connection and chemistry, and you're so overwhelmed. And then they also explode, there is no relationship. So you can have something amazing and it goes too fast, and you can lose it if you're not careful. So it's really good to kind of keep that little bit of balance and take your time. So with that being said, when you're dating someone and you're getting to know them, there's certain things that you don't necessarily need to share with them right off the bat. Maybe some of your experiences, haven't been the greatest. You kind of want to sit back, get to know the person, and do more listening, let the other person share. And there is a time frame for certain things, especially when you get older.
Right.
It all depends on the situation, but you can go ahead and you can share everything with that person, and then they end up not being the one for one reason or another. And if you have that process with every single person that you're dating, before you know it, the whole world knows your life and knows your private life and knows your business. So I think it's important to keep certain level of privacy for yourself until the trust is built in a relationship, and then you can, slowly start really letting go and being vulnerable and connecting now on a completely different level that you trust. And now at that point, you can really start to go into second or third gear and start sharing, but that needs to be established. That foundation, that work needs to be done first.
Just like we said, there's levels to love someone. There's also levels of, I guess you could say, trust. And what you said is important too, because you don't want to give everything to everybody really quick. Like, I feel like how we go through process. There's a process of getting to know someone as well, and being comfortable. I know sometimes chemistry can be so intense to the point where, you get all of that literally in one fell swoop, one conversation, one this, one that. But to me, I always feel like, to a man, and also, women out there that's listening, this is coming from a man who is, I'm passionate about monogamy. So I'm saying this to say this. There's a lot of men out there that appreciate if you hold back on certain things. We're okay if your comfort level, to me, to a real man, is important. So, ladies out there, I'm just saying that to say you don't have to give it up. You don't have to be revealing. You don't have to strip down. You don't have to do certain things, because we're going to pay attention to really what you want, how you want it, and why you want it that way. I think if a man pays more attention to a woman who is trying to bring that to the table, instead of it just based it on what can I get, or how can I feel, or what can be done, I think the relationship part of life will be a lot simpler, right?
Absolutely. What's his name? Steve Harvey. He always talks about the 90-day rule. The movie came out, and his book. I think that's really, really great. And I coached my daughters in the same direction as well. I said, if you really want to find out if somebody's into you, make them wait for 3 months, date, get to know each other, build a foundation on a friendship. And I guarantee you that friendship and that relationship is going to most likely last a very long time. And that's how you know if somebody really is into you and really wants to make, see where this goes, they will wait. And when you actually end up being, getting yourself to a place where you're going to be intimate, I mean, there is nothing like, having all the components there emotionally and physically. And that's when the real thing happens.
Mhm. And I think when you have constant communication about stuff like this, I think that just makes everything even greater. It makes the communication better. It makes the sex better. It makes the afterglow continuous. And it's just a matter of just making sure that you set yourselves up, men and women, to that point where you can allow yourselves to happen. And I feel like people get blindsided by what they can get, and they forget what kind of impact you have when you have moments, when you have lovemaking moments, when you have dating moments, when you have courtship moments, which I still feel like is a lost art, because I still feel like you need to go through that. To a man, you need the courtship. You need to court your woman. Or if you have designs on wanting to be with somebody, it's okay if you put that out there, but you have to make sure that you enjoy the process as you go. And a lot of people, again, and I think we said this earlier, they're ready to rush all day, and sometimes it's okay to slow it down.
Absolutely. I mean, what are you running to?
Exactly.
You're gonna get at your pace, the right pace for you, and it's not a race. It's how did somebody put it? It's not a race. It's it's not coming to me, but there's no need to rush. It's a journey, right? And
yeah, it's not a sprint. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon.
There you go. That's the one that I was looking for.
See, I got your back.
Absolutely.
I got your back.
Thank you.
Aviva Ramirez on Nexxlegacy, Branded After Dark. You can make sure you go ahead and hit up our website. perfect-fit.ca is the website. Go check it out. And I'm going to ask you a couple more questions if you don't mind. And one of the things, well, it's not really a question, is more of an observation. When I have this thing, and I'm not trying to put myself on the couch, but this is just how I feel, and I know maybe a few guys out there may feel the same way. But as you go through a process of getting to know someone, you go through what I feel is a courtship. So in actuality, when you invite and take someone out on a date, you want to do what you can in order to set the stage as far as potentially having future dates. So I'm a firm believer of opening a car door, opening a door in general, just period. That's just how I was raised. That will not change. That's just who I am. It's built in me to do that. I had a situation where, I did that, and the person that I had dated, this was like a while back, just literally just frowned upon that. And just, you don't have to do that, just with an attitude. And my question is, when it comes to certain things like that, and I didn't have an attitude back. I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's just something that you just really don't want. But is that something that you feel like 99% of the women do want? Or is it just that 1% who just really can take it or leave it?
I would have to say that most women want that. Absolutely. They absolutely do. They do. And you're definitely doing the right thing. And you can line up 5 to 10 different men in front of, let's say, a woman or 2 women or 3 women, they will all tell you the same. And every one of those men, if they're a gentleman and if they really treasure the female species and the womanhood and the femininity and they treat their woman like a queen, they're going to stand out 100% because that's an impression that a woman will not forget. And that's also, a difference. Sometimes we are just as visual as men are, right? Men are very, very visual. And as much as we have all these other senses, that's a male thing. For women, we're also visual, but we can also fall in love with somebody based on how they treat us.
Right.
That's really big for us. That's really, really big for us. That's very attractive for us. So it's important, and when we don't see it, we don't feel appreciated. There's men and women are so different, and sometimes I feel in my conversations, if I can just help people identify what their role is, as a man or as a woman, and just accept it, because it's not something that you ever want to let go of. It's you can call it a chore, you can call it, things that we have to do, the work we have to do within our relationships. I really feel strongly that if men would just accept the fact that, for example, women, they need to be doted on, they need to be appreciated. We like shiny things, we like sexy things, we like pretty things, we like to dress up for you, we love the heels, we love to, feel the essence of being that female for you. And if it's not appreciated, then it almost takes away from us. With the same with men too, men need to be taken care of as well. Men love challenge, so don't give it up right away. They like to chase. Everybody likes a little bit of a chase. They need to be nurtured. They like to be. They're very emotional as well. Men have emotions. They just express them differently sometimes. They show them differently. What works for them might not be the same thing that works for a woman. But as long as everybody understands what that is and what that means to that person, then that's what you got to do. And as long as you know that you got to do it and you're doing it all the time, the relationship is going to be solid. There's so many things that men need that I find sometimes women don't pay attention to. Everybody gets comfortable in their relationships. They start letting go. They're not looking after themselves. Sometimes men say, when I got married, where did it say, I'm no longer going to be, working out and I'm going to gain 30, 40 pounds. Like, I didn't sign up for this. Right? I mean, you marry a beautiful woman, you want her to stay beautiful. I mean, sure, you love her, you love her substance, you love the person, the character that she is internally, of course, but physically, you need to have that tension. You need to have that attraction. It's so important. And I'd have to say it's probably the most important thing in a relationship, to be honest, to be quite frank.
Amen to that. And Aviva, I feel like this, especially when you do mention something like, hey, you know what? I'm married now, and I can just go ahead and just let myself go. I can gain those 40 pounds, and, my man or my woman's still going to love me and stuff like that. And that may be true, but it's going to take that other person to say, hey, let's work out together. Let's build. See, it's a matter of just not being complacent when you do have that relationship. To me, this is what I learned. It took me a while to figure it out as far as in life because, I just went through life in circles, meaning let me take care of what I need to take care of right now and not look forward. Like, forward thinking to me, I think it's the best thing when you do get locked into a relationship is, no. We're not gonna gain 40 pounds. We're gonna work out together and make sure we stay in shape, make sure we stay healthy, make sure that we, take care of each other that way. But doing it together, having those moments where you can be able to share that together is important. And I'm gonna say this also to all the people out there listening. And Aviva, you're just now getting to know me, so just bear with me. But this is what I feel when it comes to a marriage. When you do get into a relationship, not only will you be able to do everything that we just talked about, just doing the workouts together and just be healthy together, but also build to the point where you can be able to take care of your man or your woman, even in the afterlife. People hate hearing that's. To me, I think that's important. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. A lot of people are afraid of that conversation, but you could do wonders for the growth of your future as husband and wife. And if you have children, even more important that you just build towards the future with while you're on earth and when you're not. And I think that's, to me, a sign of not just monogamy, but growth into everything that you want to do in life as a couple. You can have that 60, 70-year marriage because you are geared towards that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very, very important. I mean, you can decide at very early stages in your relationship, it could be a conversation. Say, let's make sure that we always keep this on the top of our list. as long as we're both committed to each other and we know what we're, as a partner, supposed to be doing within our relationship together for each other, that's huge. And if you just acknowledge what that is and you just make it so, and just say, okay, listen, this is what we're going to do no matter what happens. This is something we're going to always be committed to make sure that we're always fresh and we're always great for one another. And, I mean, not only your sex life, your whole relationship is going to it's going to evolve stronger and stronger. And you just have to know that you have to do these things. It's not, and this is work. It's work being in a relationship. It's not always easy. But as long as you're doing all the right things, I think you have a really great chance of being together for a very long time. And if you can instill that into your children, then maybe we can change the future.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Let me ask you one, and that's what it takes, one day at a time, because you a lot of people are, again, we are forward thinking, but also any steps that you do take, you got to take it together. You got to go about your day together. To me, it's just like, whoever my future wife is and whatever relationship I do get myself into later, you gotta know that. Like, I mean, the sad truth about life is you don't know when your time is going to run out. So, that's why you're always supposed to take life. You're supposed to enjoy life, obviously, but also take that approach and build and continue to build and just be, and just be on the grateful side that you can build with somebody who has the same design and the same passion that you have as far as future growth. And to me, I think that's important that a lot of people really need to pay attention to nowadays, because I just feel like a lot of men are losing it as far as their patience, and a lot of women are just and a lot of women, correct me if I'm wrong, some of the women out there are just they're just they just want to just let it develop. And it's just like we were talking about earlier, it's just like now with social media and materialism and things like that, people are just, okay, well, I need to make sure that he has XYZ on the material side in order for me to pay attention to him. And Aviva, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's not how you're going to grow anything. That's just not good, right?
No, it's not good. You're speaking about being with people I'm a little confused, for financial reasons, or putting too much putting too much emphasis on money or materialistic things versus
both.
Deep things. Is that what you're saying?
Both, absolutely, both. We see it a lot nowadays. It's people will pay attention to the person that has everything because that's what they want. They're looking at it as material based, and they're not paying attention to, the effort that man or woman, got to achieve it. So, materialism is running rampant. It's there, but at the same time, we need to find, a better motivation than to be motivated by materialism, right?
Absolutely. I think that's a talk show in its own right there.
That's right.
When it comes to material things and money, I mean, it helps you in life, right? It makes things easier in life. There's certain things you can do. You can help your children. You can travel. Right. You can have more freedom to spend together in your relationship, and all these things are great things. I think your motive needs to be correct when you're wanting to meet somebody on the same level. You have to want to do it for the right reasons versus the wrong reasons, right? And that's really important, I think. And a lot of people who have any kind of wit about them or any kind of intelligence instilled in them will see through it. Even entrepreneurs that are self-made millionaires, I work with a lot of them. They're successful because they have certain skills. And if they have that capability internally to be able to build something like that for themselves, and I'm not saying all of them are like this, but, obviously they've had the discipline, they've had the determination, they've had, the tough times they've been through, they understand what commitment is, and those things are important to them. And that's why when they come to me and they say, I'd really like to meet somebody, I don't want to date a gold digger, the whole gold digger thing, with men.
Oh, yeah.
I want somebody that has something going for themselves. They tell me they don't need to be wealthy, they don't need to have a lot of money, but I'd like to see that they're ambitious, they're working towards something, they're passionate about
Absolutely.
something, and they have something for themselves. And then,
yep.
At least they can be a team player in the relationship on some level, right? And some don't care, which is fine. Maybe they have enough money, they don't care. So
right.
There's so many situations that we can talk about, but that one is a big one. So it's good to have your own life, your own abilities, and as long as you're working towards something, that you deserve the credit.
It's huge nowadays, and especially if it, if we get involved and we get to a point where it's just, to me, building with your lady or building with your man is important, to have things to talk about, have things to discuss, fight the good fight together. I think that's important for a lot of people to realize and understand. And, I want to make sure that I let the listeners know. Make sure you go ahead to www.perfect-fit.ca. Make sure you go ahead and check out the website. And, a couple of quick ones before I let you go. The fact that you have this website and you are building and doing something that I commend you on, I think you're doing an awesome job, and we want to help grow it. So my job and my goal is to help you help others. So it could be a big deal for a lot of people to get excited about the aspect of I'm building myself so I can be able to become a better man for a good woman, and vice versa. So the people out there that's listening, I'm looking at our text line, our chat lines as well, and a lot of people are asking, like, is it something that you are hands-on, or do you have other workers with you to kind of help, go through the process, and then can they find out all the details as far as what you do for others on your website, or is there more to discuss as well?
So there is a lot of information on our website. Some of our team is on the website as well. I am the one that builds the relationships with my clients and does all the evaluation assessments and creates the wish list for everyone and has those really important conversations. If I can clone myself and create 3 or 4 of myself, that would be wonderful. But I don't think technology has brought us there yet. So, but I do have a team. I have a fantastic team. I do have a team of counselors on standby. I work with psychologists that are, close friends of mine. I have a referral system. Everything that we do as a team. I have several trainers. Even if you needed to find a really great trainer in another city, we can help you do that, because it's important to have, the knowledge in the industry and the experience, etc. We have the network and we have the staff, and everybody's here to help. And what's great about this team is that everybody is as passionate as I am. I cannot work with anybody who doesn't see the same vision that I see when it comes to people and helping people. So everybody that I associate myself, that I bring into my world and that I work with, has to be the same, and they have to want to help, and they have to be committed to that process. Absolutely. And yes, we do.
Wow. Very, very cool. And with the team that you do have, I know you're, I don't want to ask too many personal questions, but, have you benefited yourself from, this passion that you have created, as far as, not, you don't have to tell the folks and myself as far as, marriage, or, how long you've been married, or if you're married or whatever, but, how have you taken this gift that I feel like you're giving to others and applied it to yourself?
Well, the knowledge that I have, I've always had a gift for being able to feel people. Can't explain it. I have a very, very strong sixth sense. I pick up on people's energy. I know when something is wrong, or, I'm very good at that. My own personal experiences in life, I went to, hard knocks school. I didn't finish university and didn't get a psychology degree, but I am very well seasoned in life and experiences with people to be able to know the differences. And it's like having a recipe. You know, once you put yourself through that whole process, you kind of get it. And for many years now, I have been, you know, evolving that knowledge and growing it. So now I'm in a place where I see things very quickly, and I'm really able to help really fast. And it's a recipe that I have that I know works because it worked for me and it worked for many others. I hope I answered your question.
No, you did. You did in a very good way, and I appreciate that. And I'm pretty sure that the listeners are having a ball because they're just enjoying the fact that you and I are discussing real life relationships and not fantasy relationships that some people seem to wish they either have or get rid of or whatever. But, you know, I'm a firm believer, like I said, of marriage, the aspect of it. I was married before, been divorced over 12 years now. And I feel like when it comes to just the overall aspect of relationships, I wish, part of me could wish, you know what, let's skip that and get to the real stuff. But I know that there's a process that you have to take. But what I've learned, too, is you have to enjoy it, you have to embrace it, but also you have to be patient because, you know, it's nothing like the realism when it's given to you and it's appreciated, and the humble nature that I feel like two people have to share together is definitely important, and it's going to go a long way if applied right.
That's right. I think allowing yourself to be vulnerable is so important, and a majority of people out there, and that's part of the problem. And I'm not saying you have to be vulnerable, like, oh my gosh, you know, it's like pour your whole insides out to somebody. I just mean just be real with somebody and really say how you feel, and don't say what you think they want to hear. It doesn't even matter what anybody else thinks. Just be you, right? Just do you. And when you do that, when you don't care, that's confidence, number one. When you project that, when you share that with people, people will respond. But in this day and age, everybody's waiting for everybody else to go first. But if you get real, 9 out of 10 times you're going to get real back. Exactly. And it's a choice. It's a choice to want to be that way. It's a choice to want to grow that way and to stand by that. And I wish more people would do that and practice that and learn, you know, how to get to that place where you can actually feel comfortable with doing that.
Exactly. And personally, I don't have no time to be wasting trying to fit into something that I feel like I don't need to work that hard to fit in. I just need to make sure that I take care of what I need to in order to be great, become great, and grow. And if someone feels that, sense that, and they can grab onto it and we connect that way, then I think it's going to go a long way with anybody who is struggling with, you know, self-worth, self-confidence, self-motivation. I think if you just really dig down, you're going to figure it out, but you got to really figure it out. And one thing that Aviva, that I love that you're doing is you're incorporating not just, and we talked about it earlier, self-love, committed monogamy, love when it comes to relationships, but also the health part of it too. And you know, definitely people out there, it's super important for you and everyone else out there to realize that, you know, while you're working on yourself, I'm not saying you got to have a super toned body with muscles and things like that or whatever, but you got to make sure that you just stay healthy. Make sure that you are doing necessary steps to make sure that you are maintaining a healthy lifestyle because, you know, you want to live longer and you want to be with a spouse that's going to live longer with you. So, you know, the best you can do is start working on you and then do it together. I think it's awesome with a man and a woman. You know, you and I, we start working out, and to me that's hot. That should be sexy, watching your woman work out. I'm just saying.
I know. And a lot of people interpret, you know, working out like, why do I need to go to the gym to make my relationship work? Hello. Well, actually, it's not even about the whole physicality of it, you know, muscles and toned. That's just benefits that you get from doing that. But what it actually does, and you know, a lot of people who are depressed, who have low self-worth, who've kind of been beat down through their negative relationship. They kind of beat up a little bit. You know, some people don't even want to get out of bed those days. They're sad. You know.
Yep.
You get yourself into the gym. I don't care what you're doing. If you're walking on a treadmill for 30 days, 3 months straight, you know, do something. Do something. Put a regimen together. It creates endorphins. It takes you out of depression. You start seeing changes. The fact that you're even doing it and you've committed to it, the execution, you know, builds confidence inside you. And I guarantee you, if you're going through anything, I don't care what kind of shape you're in, great shape, not great shape, you just put yourself into that physical aspect in the gym or your home, or just start doing some kind of activity. Start running. Running is huge. You're going to see some big changes happening internally. And, you know, you're going to be smiling more. You're going to be feeling better. It's called reprogramming your mind is what it does,
right,
more than the physical aspect. And a lot of people don't. The people that do, they get it. They see it. They feel it. The people that don't, it's hard for them to believe it. But I guarantee you, if they start and they do, and in 3 months they're going to have a better mindset for sure.
And a lot of it is mental. You just have to dare yourself to do it, to do something different that you haven't done before. And once you get it, and once you start it, and once you become it, it's going to be a revelation that I feel like a lot of people out there is going to have, because, you know, it's necessary, and it's something that you want to challenge your mind. I don't think anybody wants to feel comfortable every single day. Challenge your mind to do something that you haven't done before. And if it's just pushing your limits to your body, and pushing the limits to your mind on an educational tip, or pushing your limits to the growth that you can see yourself have, I think, you know, that's where a lot of it starts, though, right?
That's right. Absolutely. Like, happiness is a choice. You have to choose.
Yep.
You have to choose better first. You have to want it, and you actually have to choose better. Happiness is a choice. And often I ask, people when I have my conversations, when I'm coaching someone and when we're creating a program for them or what have you, I would say, what kind of person do you want to be when it comes to life and life decisions and doing certain things? What kind of person do you want to be? Well, to be this person, you have to actually, get yourself to think like that person. So right? So do you want to be respected? Do you want to be somebody who actually accomplishes things? Do you want to be somebody who sits on the couch and watches soap operas all day, or doesn't do much? Or do you want to be somebody who actually is creating change for yourself? Because you only got a certain amount of time here, right? And at the end of that time, you want to be able to say, you know what, I did it, I tried, even if let's just say, if things didn't work out exactly the way you wanted them to, at least you tried. You got to take that credit, right? At least you did things. At least you made things happen. You created that effort. You create your own destiny. So, you only got one shot at this. It's not a dress rehearsal, this thing called life. You got to make the best of it. And you're in control of you. So who's going to make that decision for you? You. You're the only one.
Exactly.
And you can do that in your relationships. You can do that in your personal life. You can do that with your children. If you're confused, if you're not sure, you need to get a life coach. We're professionals. We know what the right answers are most of the time.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Even
Aviva Ramirez, our guest. I think we all like have those moments where you're like, you know what, I think I'm doing great. But then you question yourself, but then, like you said, and I think what you said earlier was like, you're never supposed to lose sleep over your effort. I think people have effort and other things that, some things like some people can't achieve right away. But I think to a man, like if I'm dating you and I'm seeing you put max effort every day into trying to build something or be creative in how you build. And ladies listening, I want you to pay attention to the effort and not the actual accomplishments of certain things, because there are certain things that may be too astronomical that you can't be able to achieve. But if that man put that effort in for you and he walked that walk and tried to do everything he can to build that bridge, and sometimes he's missing some screws and some boards and stuff like that, and it may not work, or it may not happen right away, but at least you see that man put that effort in, and vice versa. Men, I want you to pay attention to a woman's effort as well. Not just if she's cooking for you and cleaning for you and this, that, and the other. If she's going out trying to build her bridge and make her family go by doing certain things, pay attention to what a woman puts out as far as effort versus what it has been achieved. Because to me, I think showing that appreciation, hey, honey, at least you tried. Aviva, you did great.
Absolutely.
I know we didn't do everything all at once, but at least, honey, you gave it your all, and I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
To me,
and
that's the
anytime you want to do it again,
biggest thing you can do.
Thank you.
Hey, but before you go, I gotta let you send a shout out to all the people you need to send a shout out to. So I'll let you have the floor before I let you go there.
Okay. Well, if there's anything I could share with everyone, leave you with something, I would just say, take control of your life. Make it something. It could be even a small little thing every single day that you can do just to make it better. Even if you're out there talking to people all day long, pay somebody a compliment. Pay your spouse a compliment. Those little things, those little acts of kindness, they work magic. And you can change your whole universe, and you can change the world, your world, one day at a time with those little things. Take risk. That's what I would say.
Amen to that. www.perfect-fit.ca is the website. Please get to know this young lady. I will be supporting her throughout my life unconditionally, and make sure that everybody go ahead and log in, because I'm telling you now, like I'm trying to make sure that I'm an advocate of what you're doing, because I think what you're doing is tremendous, and it's needed, and it's necessary, and it's important for growth, not just during our lifetime, but other generations after us. I think that's important. So please continue to keep doing good work. It's important.
Thank you. And 2 heads are better than 1, right? 3 heads are better than 2.
That's right.
we can all do a little bit, right? And it'll be in magnitude. So I think that's great.
Indeed.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for the time. I had fun. Please, let's do it again. Anytime you want to come back and talk, and then maybe we'll take calls, and we'll continue to promote the website and make sure we set up clients for future work for you and things like that. Let's definitely do it again, because it's definitely great. It feels good. It feels good. The vibe is nice.
That's right. It's the right course of action. It's all goodness. Anytime.
Amen to that. Thanks a lot, dear, for the time.
Okay. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the #1 radio station for the people.